How's it going on? This is about the flying spaghetti monster and why I think it's an awful argument. The flying spaghetti monster isn't something that is new. You're not bringing in a new creature with new functions and new features. You're just saying, well, I could just turn what you're saying as God and call it the flying spaghetti monster. But you're not giving other reasons for how God can work and the different attributes and things that He has. You've just labeled it, a flying spaghetti monster. Like if I say this is my dog, I know my dog, here she is, and her name's Naomi, and you want to start calling her a swimming lollipop, it doesn't change the fact that my dog is here, that I'm petting her, and that she has certain attributes like she'll play with me, she'll run around with me, she'll run away from me at different times too. She'll like to sleep on my bed. That just calling her a lollipop swimmer doesn't change. Doesn't change her. You're not giving an example of an actual lollipop swimmer and going, well, this could explain it because of this lollipop swimmer. See, the thing is with the flying spaghetti monster is you're not giving an alternative explanation or an alternative force for how things work. As an example, if I say God created the whole universe, and when I had a relationship with God, I stopped getting, with Jesus Christ, I stopped getting sleep paralysis and demonic attacks, in my sleep. And I go, and the reason is because Jesus Christ. If you go, no, because you could say the same thing and be flying spaghetti monster, right? Okay, well, even if you just, change Jesus Christ to flying spaghetti monster, you're not deleting or changing that was the force, that was the mechanism, a belief in a higher power changed and cured my problem of sleep paralysis. You didn't give an alternative reason for what could be the mechanism that was the pivotal force to change the problem sleep paralysis. You just gave it another name. In the same way, if I have a headache and I take Tylenol, and that's what cured it, but you just wind up, you just want to be, weird and start calling Tylenol street pumpy. And you go, no, it wasn't Tylenol, because you could have just said street pumpy cured you. So you have no evidence that it was, Tylenol. And I go, whoa, hold on a second. I took something, it went away, there's no other thing I can attribute to other than taking it, and it worked. Even if you want to call it sloop, droopy, loopy, or whatever, you're not refuting the mechanism that changed it. The same way if I go, I was getting demonic attacks and sleep paralysis, the thing that changed it is when I had a relationship with Jesus Christ, that is the force that changed it. One spiritual force stopped the other spiritual things, from happening in my sleep. I no longer get these attacks, and I'm no longer, afraid of them or anything else like that. That actually happened. There's no other alternative explanation for what it is. If you just want to call it flying spaghetti monster in your head, that's fine. But all you did is you just changed the word Jesus Christ and you inserted flying spaghetti monster. You're not giving an alternative mechanism. Like you're not giving, oh, maybe you changed your diet. That would be an example of an alternative mechanism. Oh, maybe you started living in a place that was further away from pollution or whatever. Maybe that could have been the mechanism. See, as long as you just call it flying spaghetti monster, you're not changing, the mechanism. That the mechanism was my belief in God to stop it. Now on a little wider scale, calling God the flying spaghetti monster isn't coming up with a new being or a new creature with distinct functions. You're just calling an already something we have a idea of what it's about, what its characteristics are, what its distinctions are, and now instead of calling it God or Yahweh or Jesus Christ, you're just calling it flying spaghetti monster. You didn't alter in, a new species there with, distinct attributes. So I think that's why flying spaghetti monster is a really bad argument. It's because you're not offering anything new. You're just changing something and giving it a different name. But changing its name doesn't derail its power and its force to change people's lives. For example, that power and that force that changed my life from me being, a selfish, self-centered person who gets sleep paralysis, who now no longer gets it, and now is seeking the kingdom of heaven above all else. The thing that did that to me was Jesus Christ. If you just call it a flying spaghetti monster, you still haven't changed the mechanism for that change. For me, it's something spiritual happened, and it was a belief in the spiritual entity what changed it. If you just want to call a spiritual entity something else, you're not getting to the point where you're ruling out, well, it wasn't a spiritual entity, it was really, you changed your diet. Or it was really, you moved to another town. You see, you're still saying, no, it was a spiritual entity, I'm just going to rename it. So you haven't, and I think in any way disproved God or shown any reason God doesn't exist. All you did is you just decided to come up with another name for God. And you're not really coming up with another name, you're just using what other atheists have said. And then that kind of makes you, again, kind of rules out the idea of you're a free thinker and you come up with your own ideas. You're just plagiarizing and copying and pasting what other people have said. Kind of going along the lines of what you often call religious people being indoctrination and not really being able to think on their own. You're displaying these attributes by calling people flying spaghetti monsters. And the other thing is you're not able to see that you're not offering a different reason or a different or an alternative explanation other than you're just name calling things different. In the same way that if Constantinople is now called Istanbul, it's still the same city, it just has a different name. It still has the same geographical location, it just has a different name. That's all you're doing with God, is you're not denying the spiritual entity that changes people's lives, that is the creator of the universe, that's going to judge everything. You've just now called him flying spaghetti monster. And a change in names really doesn't change the fact that that place exists, that it's real, and its force and ability to change people's lives. Okay, take care.